crazy is it that in the DC universe, they actually elected Lex Luthor, one of Superman's greatest villains, as President of the United States? Superman Batman Public Enemies is the second animated film I want to review as part of my countdown to Batman v Superman. This movie came out well after the Justice League animated series, Justice League Unlimited animated series I should say, got canceled. This was the kind of like the fourth season of the Justice League animated series, because it went 2 seasons of Justice League and then it went to Justice League Unlimited for the 3rd season and the 4th season, and that was pretty much it. It kind of sucks that they didn't get another season, but oh well. And then Bruce Timm went and did only animated films every so often. That went straight to DVD. This movie is awesome. I love Superman Batman Public Enemies. It's a great film, but I don't believe it's within the continuity of the Justice League animated series, because the Justice League is not even mentioned in this. So they don't mention whether or not when Luthor becomes president of the United States, does he tell the Justice League to disband their duties as superheroes or not, because he creates his own version of the Justice League of second string superheroes, basically. And I don't know if the Justice League decided to back off or whatnot. They don't really say in the animated film. The only 2 members of the Justice League heads that show up in this animated film are Superman and Batman. No Flash, no Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, or so forth. And just the only second string heroes show up in this. Basically, the plot is Lex Luthor runs for president of the United States as an independent. And he actually wins. Yeah, an independent winning the presidency by buying the election. He starts out with 20% of Americans supporting him. And one reporter says 20% of Americans supporting Lex Luthor is like 20% of Americans supporting a red hot poker getting poked in their butt. Eventually, Luthor does win the presidency. He creates his own version of the Justice League, gets some superheroes to agree to work for the government doing their superhero duties, and he tells the rest of the superheroes, you're not above the law. You want to continue to be a superhero, you have to do it working for the government, basically. And this kind of like becomes DC's own version of the Civil War that Marvel is doing in Captain America 3 Civil War. This is kind of like their Civil War. The members of Lex Luthor's Luthor League, as I like to call them, are Captain Atom, Major Force, Power Girl, Katana, Black Lightning. Starfire shows up as part of the Luthor League from the Teen Titans. And later on, you get Hawkman and Shazam as part of the Luthor League. Now, Superman doesn't like that Lex Luthor is president of the United States, but he deals with it, he accepts it. I mean, this is what people have decided, fine. And basically, he's just doing his regular superhero duties. Ever since Luthor has become president, crime has gone down, the economy has gotten better, but Superman doesn't trust him. We find out that a giant meteor from Krypton is going to be hitting the Earth, and there's got to be some way to stop it. Luthor has his own plan to stop it. He wants to send missiles into outer space to blow up the meteor. The meteor has too much kryptonite radiation for Superman to stop it, even if he were to get in a lead suit. It wouldn't work because there's too much radiation coming from the kryptonite. The meteor is too big and a lead suit wouldn't protect him this time around. And it's too big to stand up to Superman smashing. But Batman has an idea that may stop the meteor. He has one of his contacts working on a plan to destroy the meteor. But Superman still feels he needs to do something about this. And Luthor has made this call out to the Man of Steel that he wants to meet with him and talk about a contingency plan, a plan B to deal with the meteor, because President Luthor's Secretary of Mutant Affairs, Amanda Waller, voiced by CCH Pounder, does not think that Luthor's plan is going to work, and she wants President Luthor to reach out to the superheroes and use them as a contingency plan, but one of the superheroes should try to destroy this meteor. Although I don't know which one could destroy it. Maybe Captain Atom, perhaps, because Superman wouldn't be able to stand up to this kryptonite meteor according to this continuity, I guess, because the meteor's too big and too much kryptonite radiation and all. Anyway, Superman agrees to meet up with Lex Luthor, but when he meets up with Lex Luthor has his Secret Service with him to protect him, and one of the members of the Secret Service is one of Superman's nemesis, Metallo, a cyborg with a kryptonite heart. So Superman gets weak around Metallo. He gets mad at Lex Luthor for having Metallo there. Metallo attacks to protect President Luthor. Lex Luthor is taken away by the rest of the Secret Service, and there's this big fight between Metallo and Superman. Superman gets hurt badly because Metallo uses part of his kryptonite heart and shoots Superman with it. But Batman rescues Superman, and Metallo buries both Superman and Batman alive. But Batman and Superman are still able to get away. You have to watch the animated film to find out how. And basically then one of the DC metahumans kills Metallo and frames Superman. So now Superman is accused of being a criminal, a murderer. We don't know who killed Metallo, really. Batman heals up Superman at his Batcave, and they gotta find out who really killed Metallo. President Luthor puts a bounty on Superman's head. I think it's something like $1 million or whatever the bounty is. While Superman and Batman are trying to investigate what really happened to Metallo, you got every supervillain in the DC universe going after Superman to collect on the bounty. And that's basically our film. Now, this is a very good animated film, but it does get a little bit convoluted because you got a lot of DC characters showing up in this animated film. And if you're not very versed in the DC universe, you may not know who everybody is, and you may get confused. I got a little bit confused, and I know the DC animated universe pretty well, but I don't know everybody in this animated film, and I don't know everybody's origin or everything. Like, I don't know who Major Force is. I don't know much about Power Girl. I don't know much about all the villains that show up in this supervillain scene that fight against Superman, Batman. There were a lot of villains in that scene. Nightshade. Who the heck is Nightshade? Grodd, Mongol, Grundy, Solomon Grundy, Shiva, Silver Banshee, the Cold Gang, Captain Cold, Mr. Freeze, Killer Frost, Icicle, Bane, Deadshot, Atomic Skull, Giganta, Black Manta or Devil Ray, one of Aquaman's villains, and a whole bunch of other villains show up. Cheetah, one of Wonder Woman's villains, King Shark, and Superman and Batman has to deal with almost every villain in the DC universe. They have to deal with the Luthor League while they're trying to prove Superman's innocence, and it is a bit of a big mess, but it is a very good film, and I did like this movie a lot. Even though it does get a bit convoluted, you do get a good amount of screen time for the main characters in this film. I love Amanda Waller in this. She's great. Luthor is awesome as the main villain in this, and even though it's kind of obvious who is the murderer of Metallo, there is some mystery, and it is pretty cool once the reveal comes out. Of course, the chemistry between Batman and Superman is still awesome. I love the banter between Superman and Batman. Kevin Conroy, Tim Daly, they are excellent as the voices. Clancy Brown is fantastic as Lex Luthor. You get to see the Lex Luthor suit, the armor that he uses in the comic. That is awesome in the final fight. And you get to see the new Toyman. Hero is the new Toyman's name, and he's a pretty cool guy too. Apparently, this animated film supposedly happens after Superman went up against Doomsday, because it is referenced in the supervillain scene that Superman and Batman are talking while they're fighting all these villains, and Batman says, "You can't get out of here if you want," and Superman says, "I wouldn't miss this for the world." Batman says, "It's your funeral," and Superman says, "Already have one." So that references that the Doomsday event did happen before. This was just such an awesome animated film. I really did like it. It does get a bit convoluted, which makes the world's finest animated film a little bit better, in my opinion, because it's more simple. But this is still a great animated film, and I'm going to give this movie an A. Definitely check this animated film out if you find it somewhere, and that's all I got to say. Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. I'm going to be doing Superman, Batman, Apocalypse later on, and I am in the process of watching the Dark Knight Returns animated film. I'm almost done with that, and I'll try to do a review before the Superman, Batman, Dawn of Justice movie comes out, or maybe I'll do a review of it after I do my review of Superman, Batman, Dawn of Justice. We'll see what happens. And that's it.